Welcome back to Infamously Speaking. I'm Matt Rose. I'm joined by Quan, the infamous one, fantasy legend, champ, punk at this point, maybe.
Is crazy, bro.
Fantasy.
That's wild.
Legend of the game, bro. Legend of the game. Got to put respect on the name. Got the banners. It said draft day. Johnny Manziel, 2025, 10 years later. How is he still a man still?
I just do what I do, man. And here's the thing, right? They say, like, with age comes wisdom, which I somewhat agree with. What good is the wisdom if you're not going to share it? We're in a position right now.
Man of the people.
What's he say? What do they say? You're in a position right now to learn a thing or two. Question is, are you going to listen? So
They'd be wise to.
They'd be wise to. You know, the proof is on the wall. All you got to do is subscribe right here. Right there.
Flex.
The proof is out there. The proof is out there, is all I'm going to say. Nah, you know, we talked about it, Matt. You was getting a little down. You was in your feelings. You like the subscriptions aren't coming. I'm like, relax. Relax. First off, it's free to subscribe. Free. Free. People love free. People love discounts. People love value. You're talking about fantasy football, people all search for value.
Value.
You want to know what's valuable? The information that we're going to provide. Free of cost. Only thing we ask is that you subscribe for free. I know there's a lot of you out there wondering, what is Quan going to say? What is Matt going to say? And you pay some random people that you don't know a hefty amount of money, whether it's yearly or monthly, to get the same insights that we're going to share with you. The only difference is it comes with a little fun, comes with a little shit talking, a little banter. It comes with some real takes. And it doesn't come with spam messages saying, hey, deposit $20 and put a parlay in so you can lose that money too on top of the subscription. Right?
That's a fact. That's a fact. No email that you're not going to read, that you're going to have. Now you're going to have 10,000 unread messages in your inbox, just like me. For mailing lists you don't remember you subscribe for, you forgot to uncheck the box. You got to worry about that. All you got to do, like Quan said, simple. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll get it popping. Throughout the season, this is not just one and done type of content. You're going to get stuff like this from us all season. Performance reviews, who should be targeting come trade deadline time, waiver wire pickups. This is what we do. We don't do it because we want to get famous. We do it for the love of the game. As you can see, banners on the wall. My banner hasn't come in yet, but it'll eventually probably cover up this picture because the Quan gives me shit for it every single time he sees it. Says it invalidates my takes because I got a picture of LeBron on my wall. So I don't know how I can show it on the camera so you can see the Jordan reflection in it. But anyways, let's jump into this list. If you haven't already seen the receiver rankings, we did a very similar video already. If you haven't seen that, link is in the description. Go check that out because you're going to want this information as you go into draft weekend. I know a lot of leagues are drafting this weekend because they wanted preseason to end. They wanted 53-man rosters to be finalized. All happening this week. So this is the content that you need to set you up for the best success. Now, like what we say all the time, you don't win your league at the draft, but you set yourself up for great success to win your league at the draft. And that this is what these tiers are for. It is a guide.
Great point,
not
Matt.
the Bible.
Great point. Like we talked about it on the third take, I think it was, where I had a draft on Saturday, and if I'm being honest, I didn't do any rankings. I didn't do any research. I just been busy with a lot of personal things going on that was more important in the moment. So it put me in an uncomfortable position. But the great thing about that is I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. in fact, that's where I shine like a diamond, right? Those little, you going through the adversity. How you gonna come out of that? But what Matt and I are trying to do is make sure that you're comfortable if you're in an uncomfortable position, right? If someone snipes you and takes the guy you really wanted, for example, say your guy is Saquon Barkley, who else is in that tier that you feel like, you know what? I don't mind taking this guy because he has the potential to do better than Saquon Barkley. That's what this is for.
Facts. And I think another thing to add too is it helps you to see, man, how many people do I feel are tier one running backs left on the board? And should I really is now the time? Do I need to make sure I snag one? Can I get one on the way back if I'm not able to, if I'm early on that way back in the second round? So it also helps you do that, because if you only got 4 running backs in tier 1 and 3 are gone and there's people after you and they haven't taken running backs clearly because they're after you, then maybe you might have to take that running back. So it can help inform and make some of those decisions easier for you.
Yes. Yeah. So like if there's a wide receiver on the board that you potentially want, but he falls in that tier 2 ranking, and there's one running back left in that tier 1 that you want, you would want to go with that tier 1 running back.
Correct.
Great point. Great point. I'll start it off.
All right.
Because, Matt and I,
Different formula.
probably like the 8th take, right? So we was like, Quan, you go first. Matt, you go first. Quan, you go first. I'll go first. I had my draft on Saturday. I had the second pick of the draft. And who do you guys think I took? You're damn right. I took
not
Bijan Robinson.
Because that is not Bijan Robinson.
Matt put that picture there.
I promise I did it.
That is not Bijan Robinson. That is Tua Tagovailoa. No, that's actually the running back from Detroit. And I remembered his name because I did pick him up in the Dynasty League just in case Jameer got hurt, because he's like a two-way running back. And I think his name was like Vital or something, a psychiatrist. It's a different kind of name. He went to UTEP. But anyway, off the Bijan Robinson lookalike. I took Bijan. I took Bijan with the second pick of the first round. I went with safety. I went with someone who could potentially finish as number 1. Obviously, that's what you always want to strive for. Someone who's going to finish at the top of the rankings when it comes to getting points. I think Bijan is probably as safe as it gets when you compare him to others in this list, right? Such as Christian McCaffrey with his injury, Derrick Henry with his age, Saquon. I think he's going to regress a little. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But before I go into those running backs in depth, I will say Bijan, I feel like, is the safest pick. Obviously, Atlanta's going to use him. He started out hot last season. The only hesitation I had with Bijan is that Atlanta loves alligator, as Matt likes to call him, right? Tyler Algier. And his receiving in a PPR league regressed since week 10 last year. So when you see that going downhill, and then even when Michael Penix stepped in, it didn't improve. And I remember the parlays were like 2 catches, and I'm like, he got one early in the first half, and it's like, this guy didn't even get another catch. I just lost my parlay because of 2 catches. And PPR is huge. And it always makes running backs who can catch relevant, even if they're not great. For example, in Austin Eckler, right? He was great, but I'm talking about this season. He's somewhat someone you can plug and play just off of receptions. So I went with the safety pick instead of the home run with Bijan, and that's my take. How do you feel about that?
Listen, I can't get mad at that. I agree with you. I think this is the safest pick. We talk about volume. We know the volume's going to be there for Bijan. We know that they're going to want to run the ball with a young quarterback. We know that he's going to be involved 3 downs most of the time. Like you said, they do like Tyler Algier. There with good reason. He's a proven vet. This is the guy that I'd probably take before Bijan, and that's Jahmyr Gibbs. And tying it back to Bijan, you can this could be a good thing for you. This could be a bad thing for you because you could say he has nowhere but up to go, or maybe this just isn't part of his game in the NFL. And that's the home run ball. That's the home run potential. That's a big part, especially in fantasy, depending. And again, this is where knowing your league settings matter, but you get bonus points for long touchdown rushes. Sometimes you get bonus points just for long plays, 20 plus yard, 30 plus yard, 40 plus yard. Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, right? Some of the top running backs all had 25 carries of more than 15 yards all season. Bijan had half of that. Only one run of 30 or more yards and none over 40. Now, that's a good thing because, he's consistent, right? He gets his points even without those big chunk plays. But it's not a part of the game. You want home run potential because that bonus that you get for a 30-plus yarder, 40-plus yarder is what can win you leagues. I mean, Saquon was single-handedly winning me games because he broke off, a 50, 60-yard touchdown run. And that just wasn't happening with Bijan last year. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs is a home run hitter. He does all the things Bijan does, right? 3 down back, extremely durable. And when Montgomery was out, his production skyrocketed last year. Talking about to the tune of over 30 fantasy points per game on average when Montgomery was out. Led running backs and rushing touchdowns. That could be fool's gold sometimes, but what I think about or what I concern myself with when it comes to running backs, again, volume, home run potential, and also, like you mentioned in PPR leagues, how relevant are you in the passing game? He is their passing down back. He doesn't split that like Bijan does with Algier.
No, it's a great call out. I thought you was also going to mention, PFF's rankings with their offensive line, right? Their run efficiency. But it sounds like you're giving more reasons why you're picking Gibbs, which is, that's fair. So then my question to you is, because you brought this up multiple times, they lost their lineman and they lost their genius offensive coordinator. You don't think that will play any effect?
There's some guys that just have so much talent that I feel like it doesn't affect them. We talked about a little bit with Amon-Ra St. Brown, where we feel like he's still wide receiver 1. Or tier 1, sorry, not wide receiver 1 in fantasy, but still tier 1 wide receiver just because he's that good, tough, smart route runner. Gibbs is just that good, in my opinion, as a running back. And because he can get so much out of the receiving game and the weapons that you had. I know you brought up on a previous take them leaning a little bit more towards on JMO, who stretches the field vertically. So you can't even stack the box against that because they'll throw over the top. I like their chances still.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I don't have a problem with that. I talked about this on the wide receiver rankings where if you want your guys, go get them. And a lot of the guys that I want this year have the potential to be home run hitters or at least provide more value than where they're getting drafted at, which we'll talk a little bit more later about. But yeah, so the third person I have on here is risky business. And that's Mr. Saquon Barkley himself. Had a phenomenal year last year. Obviously, could have been record breaking if he really wanted to. And I love that about him. Like he was like, no, let the young guys eat. I love that about Saquon. The offense didn't change, right? Still got the best offensive line, in my opinion, with the Eagles. With the Super Bowl and the way that played out, I feel like teams will understand you can't necessarily just stack the box against them when you got elite receivers and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith right there, right? And Jalen proves he can get him the ball, even though he's mid. So why can't
God, Jalen Hurts on the banner behind him too.
So why is difference between fantasy and real life? So why can't he repeat?
It's a great question.
Only thing, because a lot of so-called experts think that he's definitely going to regress. He can't have another quote-unquote record-breaking season, right? So I disagree. I think that's a winning formula. So why deviate from that? The only problem I have is that he's on the Madden 26 cover, and that curse.
That's a real thing.
Is a real thing. So,
well, I think the big thing is And it kind of goes against what I talked about a little bit earlier, but the amount of home run plays that he had last year, it could be concerning. He just ripped off 15 plus yard carry. Like it felt like carry after carry after carry. He had 46 rushes go over 10 plus yards last year, which is incredible. Also led the league in carries, 345. They had the most run snaps in the NFL. So if any of those things drop, obviously that impacts his production. Now, I'm with you. I think consistency is a big piece. Line stays the same. Even if things changed, I watched Saquon with the Giants where things always changed. And as long as he was healthy, he was great. So I think running back 3 is a great spot. Like, I would be happy. I'm happy. I'd be happy if I had Saquon. In a redraft league, I'm cool with Saquon. 100% is my running back 1. I'm not thinking twice about it.
I agree. That's why I chose him.
Good pick. So I'm gonna go sticking in tier 1, and this one's not gonna be surprising. I'm gonna go Derrick Henry, and I know a lot of people like Genty. And again, this is important. We should have said at the top, this is for redraft leagues. Dynasty drafts have already happened. They should have already happened. If not, good luck. Good luck trying to get those done before the season starts. If this was Dynasty, Genty, 100% because Henry's age, Genty a rookie. We expect the Raiders to run the ball a lot. But the Ravens offense, they are a run-heavy offense. And just having Lamar Jackson as your quarterback is going to get you a lot of open rushing lanes because he has so much gravity on the field that I don't think I've ever seen Derrick Henry have so many runs where he's able to get to the second level untouched. Also, Baltimore's offensive line from a rushing perspective is rated very highly. I think right below or right behind Atlanta, who was number 1. And I know we keep on talking about, well, he has to hit that wall. He has to hit that wall. He has to hit the wall. Well, he hasn't yet, and he's in a way better situation, right, in Baltimore than he ever was in Tennessee. And he's another guy, home run potential, right? He rips off a lot of long runs. He's going to get you bonus points off of that. So Derrick Henry for me is a clear cut. I like him actually ahead of Genty in redraft leagues because we know what we're getting out of him and a run predicated offense with a really good offensive line.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. I felt like you talked a lot about Genty, so I'm not sure how you really feel about him with this tier. So I can't wait to let you rank Genty, which I should let you do right now. But
I mean, I
just
can.
my take, right? With
tier 1.
Okay, you got him in tier 1. So you think he has the potential to be the number 1 running back in fantasy football
with the volume, just off of volume? Why not?
Oh no. I'm cool with that. You're the one who usually says, "Oh, he has to prove it." The college is different. I was even afraid of Michael Myers, huh?
College is different. College is different. If say we limited it to 4 players, he'd be the first one on tier 2.
Okay. I was just curious. I think that you have to put Christian McCaffrey there. And here's the reason. I like that. What is that skepticism? You look real like, why did Quan go there? You're surprised.
I mean, I think you know why I'm surprised. Injuries are a concern, man. The tendonitis, that's real shit. The Achilles tendonitis and it being in one leg and then just spreading to the other. Leg injuries are just like lower leg injuries and running backs is not a good thing, man.
Listen, we talked about this. Christian, so I get that, right? And that's why I wouldn't go Christian McCaffrey because I do have some reservations when it comes to his health. But supposedly he's 100% healthy. Christian McCaffrey, 100% healthy, has never finished less than the number 2 running back in fantasy football.
I agree. He plays the whole season.
He's that elite. And like we talked about with Jahmyr Gibbs, he's a pass-catching running back.
Yep.
So how can he not be in tier 1 as long as he's healthy? right now, because you talked about
It's
like
true.
what's going on right now. Right now, he's healthy. Then he should easily be in this. In fact, I think I may choose Christian McCaffrey over Derrick Henry, personally.
Okay. So we always like to assume health, right? But there's just certain players you're like, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. But I mean, I agree with you. He's healthy. There's a high chance he finishes as running back one because he's plays in a Kyle Shanahan offense where they want to get the ball out quick. They want to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. He's their best playmaker. They're going
They
to
got a
scheme
weak
him
schedule.
open.
They got a weak schedule.
So it's just that's just strictly a health thing. Strictly. But now if I'm picking at the end of the first round, I'm feeling good. Or if I got to come around and no one took him, I feel good about it. Absolutely, I'll pick him up for sure. It's spooky because you know that he could just be gone. And like, what happened? No one even touched him. Yeah, he didn't get hit. So yeah, I ain't got much to say about that. That's it.
Well, you looked at it like, not like I don't mind that. For those out there, you're gonna pick players that the league is gonna be like, what is he thinking? Or what is he doing? Let him.
Listen, if he's healthy and you get him at let's say like 111, 112, which he's been going, I've seen him been going in that range because of the injury concerns, you could end up with the steal of the draft.
Absolutely.
You
We
probably
talked
will
about
end up
it.
with the steal of the draft if he stays healthy.
We talked about in the other episode where don't hold those grudges. If you got burnt by Christian McCaffrey because of those injury years, I know it's tough to get over, but potentially, right? You got a number one running back late in the first round, early second.
Could be RB1 overall. Yeah, I mean, talent is there, situation is there, opportunities there, volumes there, everything is there. It's just it's the health of the player that I question. But like I said, end of the first round, I'm cool with it. I'm like, yeah, I'll take the risk. I'll take the risk at that point. All right, let's keep it moving. Tier 2, I put Genty there. Here's a guy that I like looking at this list. In tier 2, I like Chase Brown. And this is just strictly based on what we've seen out of Cincinnati. The inability to defend, they need to score a lot of points. And just based off that, offense is going to be on the field a lot. Typically, after the other team scores, Chase Brown is the undisputed running back one in that situation. P. Ryan might get some pass catching snaps, but Chase Brown is a very good receiving back, great in the screen game. The volume is going to be there.
No, I agree. I think that a lot of experts like him because you can usually get him late in the second round. Some leagues even third round, for some reason. But situation. We talking about situations. That's an offense that's gonna be constantly trying to get the ball in the end zone because their defense is that atrocious.
Yep.
Obviously, when you're playing from behind, you think they're gonna run the ball a lot, but Chase Brown, you can catch the ball as well. So there you go with that little rebuttal. Speaking about catching the ball, and I think this guy belongs in tier 1, and that's Achane. Now I get it. Actually, no, I don't get it. I want to hear what you gotta say first, and then I'll respond. Because it seems like you don't agree with that.
Everything in that offense is really predicated off of their quarterback staying healthy. They're a pass first kind of offense. And when the passing game isn't going good, typically the running game isn't going good. Achane is an unbelievable talent. You want to talk about home run potential? It's written all over him, one of the fastest guys in the league. I don't trust Miami.
Do you know who the number one running back is when Tua's on the field?
Yes,
I kind
it's
of gave
him.
you the answer.
No, it's him. Yeah. But that's why I'm telling you. It's all predicated on the player, their quarterback, and the health of their quarterback. And like McCaffrey, Tua is not a player that we could say, assuming he's healthy. Right? We can't.
That's what we're ranking him on. We're not. We can't.
All right.
That's like assuming.
Okay.
All right.
So how about this? For me, that's what takes him out of tier 1.
Huh?
For me, that's what takes him out of tier 1. Is the fact that Tua's definitely Tua. When's the last time Tua played 16 or 17? Let me look that up real quick.
Who's the Ravens' backup quarterback right now? I forgot.
That's a good question.
Right? Lamar goes down, you don't think that's going to hurt Derrick Henry?
Not to the extent that it hurts A-Chain. With Tua goes down. You just say he's the number one running back. Tua's only played every game 1 year. That was 2023.
That was 2 years ago?
Okay. He's been in, this will be his 6th season coming up. And he's only done that one time.
2 years ago is more recent.
You got to go off length of the career. This guy's only played, he's only played more than 13 games one time.
All right, let him follow me.
I'm not arguing that he's not tier 2. I'm just saying he's not tier 1.
Oh, you can't argue he's not tier 2. You can't argue. You can't argue.
I'm not arguing it. I'm just saying I wouldn't put him in tier 1.
You can't. I know you're not, because you can't. If I think he's tier 1, how can you argue that he's not in tier 2? That's
because he'd be wilding sometimes. But I'm not. That's not wild what you're saying. But go on with your A-Chain. Why is he tier 1, Ken?
We just talked about it. Home run hitter. He's proven that as long as the quarterback is healthy, and I get it, that's a concern. But right now, we're ranking based off of where they're at right now, and he's healthy. So why can't he? Tyreek's back. He's healthy. Why can't he?
Okay. No, listen. All right, so let's just everybody's healthy. That we're just gonna assume Bill of health, even for the players, for the players that only played a full season one time in their entire career.
No, I'm tired of you doing that. I'm tired.
No, but it's hard to be like,
You're fucking with the narrative here.
No, I'm not fucking with the narrative at all. I'm saying that doesn't. When that is a common scenario, this guy misses games, right? And the splits, like you said, with him on the field and with him not on the field are ridiculous. 22.5 fantasy points when Tua plays, 8.7 when he doesn't. Ridiculous drop off. Tua historically
you're not
play the whole season.
I don't know, sir.
Okay,
but
so what I'm saying
is Tua is healthy. Is Tua hurt right now?
Do we know?
Yeah.
He might be. No, all I'm saying is, for me, that's what would knock him down to tier 2. That's all I'm saying. But if for you it doesn't, you want me to put him there, there you go. He's there.
No, leave him at tier 2. You wanna make our listeners lose championships? Put him at tier 2.
No, I don't. But who are you taking? You got the choice. Let me ask you, who you taking? You taking Genty or you taking A-Chain?
I'm taking Genty. Off of volume.
Is Genty a tier 1 running back in your opinion?
Yeah. Because he has the potential of finishing number 1, like you said.
So you'd have 7 running backs that could potentially finish number 1.
Yes.
Fuck it. Okay.
I do.
You said that with so much conviction that I'm like, all right, no, okay.
Based off the conversation we've really been having.
I do believe
for 2 hours now.
If that's the case, then I'm gonna do this because I can't see Derrick Henry finishing number 1.
You know
RB1.
what's funny? You know what's funny? I was gonna say that's the one person I don't feel confident finishing number 1.
Yeah, I can't see him finishing RB. He's gonna finish top 5. I for sure see that penciled in. You know what I'm even saying? Because the receiving for Henry is not great, and that's what hurts him. But the rushing numbers are so remarkable. But if out of all those players, you're like, hey, who if you had to pick one, who's for sure not finishing number 1? It would be fantasy wise. It would be Derrick Henry. It'd be Derrick Henry, because there's one thing about all those running backs that he doesn't do, and that's dominant or really a game changer in the receiving game. So, all right, got that sorted out. I'm still not loving the A-Chain one, but I'm gonna respect and say everybody's healthy.
It. Just to be clear, you're not loving it not because of the talent, but because of Tua.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's why.
And what's that? Ollie Gordon? He actually had a great preseason, so I think that might cut into A-Chain. I think that hurts more than Tua, just because that's a real thing that's happening right now. I'm not assuming that someone's gonna get a concussion.
That's like me saying, "Hey, Quan, last 5 years, Out of 4 of the last 5 years, I've gotten into a car accident. Do you think I'm gonna get into a car accident this year?
No. Do you know
Wow,
why?
because you're an optimistic person.
I am an optimistic person,
That's
but
what it is.
also, I believe in you for being smart enough not to put yourself in a situation to get in another car
But
accident.
half it's not even. It's not Tua not being smart enough to put himself in the
Yeah, it
situation.
was. He didn't
Not all the
slide.
time. Yeah,
When
but
he
you
didn't,
got.
when he got hurt, he didn't slide. All right. I
Anyways,
picked H-N. Your turn.
I'll follow H-N right here. Kyren Williams, money. LA. Kyron's he had a game. What was the stat? Straight games with like a rushing touchdown, over 100 yards. He's just consistent, is what he is. They're gonna rely on him more, I believe, this season too, with agent Stafford. They're probably gonna want to try to keep Stafford out of harm's way as long as possible. Goal for the Rams, get to the playoffs because they're dangerous, as we saw last year. Kyron's a big focal part of the offense. Now, especially with another weapon on the other side, that just opens up the passing game more, which means less stacked boxes, more room to operate. I'm cool
I
with leaving
like
Kyron there.
I like Kyren in tier 2. I think after tier 2, it gets spooky for the most part.
I agree.
There's still potential out there, but I think it gets spooky after tier 2.
I think one thing on Kyron, real quick, if you don't mind, is he's going to get the volume. So here's a little interesting tidbit come from PFF. Since McVay became the Rams head coach, the Rams have ranked 4th in rushing attempts differential between the starters and the backups, meaning they don't share the workload. It's not a running back by committee, which automatically bumps your value up because volume is the thing, right? We always talk about it. Volume is the name of the game. Ranked 3rd in carries last year, 316. So he's going to get the volume that he needs. Also, is on the field all the time, even in passing situations. They don't really have that passing back. So he's going to get a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, think about that. He literally
I'm
was
done.
behind Saquon with carries.
Volume-wise,
So,
yep.
Volume-wise, we talk about that. Volume is king. So I love him at tier 2. I have no problem with that. In my draft on Saturday, I took Bijan, or Bijan, as his real name is pronounced. And on it's 16 teams, so there's a lot more players being chosen. So at the end of round 2, it came to me, and the player before me, obviously, he took Chase. So I'm thinking he might take a running back. So I went wide receiver, and I took Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's gonna have a breakout year, which you guys can check that out. So I won't go too far into that. He took McBride, and I forgot who the other person he took was. I think it was another receiver, actually. So I followed up with Kyren. So I got
That's
Bijan
ridiculous.
and Kyren Williams, right?
You want to talk about
Now
volume and
Marvin Harrison's not probably in anybody's tier 1. Some probably have him on the fringe of tier 2, which is fine. But my belief is that he's gonna have a breakout season. And at that point, the receivers in that position I wasn't too fond of as far as upside. So I went for upside with that pick. But I like Kyren there because of that volume. And we talked about volume is king. Just to elaborate a little bit more on why I love him in tier 2. Somebody else I want to add in there is Bucky Irvin. And the reason why I'm putting Bucky Irvin in there, he proved it last year. He can get it done. That offensive line is pretty fucking good, and that division is kind of weak. So I don't mind you taking Bucky Irvin in a tier 2 situation.
And Shaun White missing time, right? He's expected to miss some time with the groin injury. Let's round out tier 2. You mentioned him volume wise. This might be a guy who we see volume decrease a little bit this coming year, but Josh Jacobs was incredibly effective his first year in Green Bay. From a sheer volume perspective, I like the pick. I think volume is going to be there. Also, a touchdown scorer. When they get close, they like to run the ball. So that's a big part of his game. Even when he was in Oakland/Vegas, that's always been a part of his game.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I was going to bring that up where he's always been a talented running back. People were worried about his situation in Green Bay, but He has the talent. He definitely gets the volume. I think the volume does regress as well. I think that's another reason why I'm high on their number one receiver. But I like that. I like Josh Jacobs in tier 2. There's someone I like in this tier, but I don't think he's gonna have as good of a year as people may think. So it is. I feel like it's a little bit of a risk, depending on what players are available, and that's Jonathan Taylor.
That's where I thought you were gonna go.
Because Jonathan Taylor was top 5 in carries as well. So we talked about volume, right?
Yep.
He don't really have a lot of competition over there. The thing that I worry about is that he doesn't play a huge part in the catching game, right? Like he's not the third down back. And I don't see that team putting up a lot of points on the board because you got Daniel Jones at the helm.
Yep.
And, I'm just not, I don't know if I'm not a big Jonathan Taylor fan. I just never really had a lot of equity in him throughout his career so far. But he worries me because of the situation of being able to put points on the board, which, as we talked about, if it's not volume is king, it's people who can get in the end zone.
Which, yeah, that's his forte. 11 rushing touchdowns last year. I would feel like this would probably be a guy that I would have at the top of tier 3.
That's fair.
And you know what? On top of that, I might bump Josh Jacobs down there just for the very fact of the receiving game. Especially also, one thing I forgot to mention in Green Bay, Marshawn Lloyd is someone who's been catching steam there. And while it might not significantly cut into Jacobs' workload from a rushing perspective, it's definitely going to cut into his workload from a passing perspective. Which I think the guys that we have in tier 2 outside of Derrick Henry, who's just such a dominant rusher, they all get involved, passing and obviously traditional rushing game. So, how you feel about moving Josh and JT, keep him tier 3?
I'm not mad at that because I do think that Josh Jacobs is not going to get 300 carries this year. I don't think so.
They had to justify the contract.
And so you brought up Marshawn Lloyd, right? So what is your take on Breece Hall? Because I feel like that's the reason why Breece Hall has dropped off so much.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Even last year, so Breece Hall's never rushed for 1,000 yet in his career, and a lot of that, Jets poor offensive line play, Jets really poor quarterback play, easy to scheme against them, right? But maybe even more so now because what they want to do is run the ball with Justin Fields as their quarterback, and they like Braylon Allen, and they got that kid Isaiah Davis. So I'm not sure if it's really how much of a stranglehold Breece has on that job. Now Breece is very capable in run, obviously rushing the ball, but also in the passing game. He's a weapon on both sides. I've just because of what I know about the Jets, I've kind of steered a little bit away from Breece. Unless I'm like, man, I'm getting him I'm cool with taking him where I can get him here. He's best player available. I'm hurting that running back, but not in love with this situation in New York.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to see stacked boxes.
Just
Not
what
a
it
lot
is.
of people put respect on Justin Fields throwing the ball.
You could change that, but yeah.
Yeah, you could change that. But the reason why I do think Breece Hall still belongs in tier 3 is because he is usable when it comes to receiving.
Let me ask you this: Breece Hall over let's say a guy that you're really high on, RJ Harvey, or Breece Hall over even a James Conner, or Breece Hall over.
I actually took RJ Harvey over Breece Hall.
So does that just mean? I mean that means RJ tier 3.
Yeah, I think so. Javonte Williams was having a great little run for a minute, and now
Sure was.
You have Sean Payton, right? We've seen what he could produce with Kamara. I told you, RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey, given that opportunity in an offense that has improved, And you can't really stack the box, I don't feel like, because Bo Nix is, he's proven he can be a serviceable quarterback, actually a good quarterback. And you got Cortland Sutton back there. I like RJ Harvey's opportunity. They have a great offensive line. So I like RJ Harvey. I like the potential that he has. In fact, RJ Harvey is my third running back in this league. Right? I told you I picked up Bijan first, got Kyren, and RJ Harvey was sitting there. I was like, I gotta take this guy.
So check this. RJ Harvey, obviously killing camp on the job. Broncos running backs per PFF again. Broncos running backs have caught 214 passes over the past 2 years, more than any other team in the NFL. Money in PPR, especially if he's going to be the guy. Also, like you mentioned, the Broncos offensive line. They've retained all 5 starters. Continuity is a big deal. They stay very healthy. They're consistent. All spells good things for a running back. I even put him above Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor. Like you mentioned with JT, such situation in Indy, quarterback situation is I'm stacking the box against Indy. All right, Daniel Jones, you beat us. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And like you said, Josh Jacobs, this is a guy when it comes to carries, Marshawn Lloyd, the emergence of him, what does that mean for him, especially in passing downs? RJ Harvey should be all over those. And clearly, Sean Payton offense, they like getting the ball to the running back. And they like getting the ball to Bo Nix's hands quick, which leads to running backs getting targeted heavily, like here in Denver.
Yeah. Like I said, I think Kamara's a great running back, right? Like he's proven it. He's super talented, but I don't know if he has that same kind of output without Sean Payton.
I agree with that. And they haven't been able to figure out quarterback at all. At all.
Oh, you talking about? I'm talking about in general, like even before.
Yeah.
Kamara being part of that passing game was a big part of what Sean Payton does. And you just said it right now. The last 2 years with the 200+ catches,
leads the league.
Why all of a sudden would that change? It's like you just said to me previously. If you got into an accident 4 out of 5 years, why is it going to change this year?
Tendencies are tendencies, man. Anybody else that you're looking at here where you're like, yeah, I really like this guy in tier 3. I can maybe make the case for an Omarion Hampton.
I was just about to say Omarion.
Volume is going to be the thing there. Justin Herbert's passing attempts were at an all-time low when he's played every game in the season last year. They draft Joe Alt last year. They draft Omarion Hampton. They bring in Najee Harris. They want to establish the run game. That's just as simple as that. That's the kind of coach Jim Harbaugh is. This guy's talent is off the charts.
Tier 3 is easy for me with Hampton. I think then here's the other thing, right? Because I do like Breece Hall and tier 3, but again, I understand where your hesitation is, and I'm not mad at that. With that being said, I think there's a few other players that needs to be in tier 3. Kamara. Yeah, their quarterback situation is ass, so we don't know what they're going to do, but Kamara has to be the focal point regardless.
That's a fact.
What did Kamara finish last year? He actually didn't have a bad year because of the receptions and all that.
I mean, let all running backs and targets with 87.
There you go.
68 catches. Just shy of a
Show and Rattler's not out there.
He just got named starter.
There you go. He's not going to be out there slinging the ball around. And you talk about health. You talking about health of other players you're worried about. Olave can't stay healthy. They're gonna have to run that offense through Kamara first. So I like Kamara in tier 3.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think better than Breece because they don't got to run the offense through Breece.
Yeah. I agree. There's another player that people are big on for good reason, and that's Kenneth Walker. The thing I don't like about Kenneth Walker is their line is pretty ass, and we gotta see what they're gonna do with that. I think Kenneth Walker is a good running back, like talent wise. I get it. Like the injuries is a concern. So I think if you get Kenneth Walker, you have to get Zach Charbonnet if you're gonna take that risk. If if Kenneth Walker becomes your first running back, you have to get Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like Charbonnet is great either. He's not
Charbonnet.
great, actually.
Charbonnet could play.
Nah, man.
Given his opportunities, he could play. I'm telling you, we got a lot of this. We might as well just draft me and you right now.
When Kenneth Walker is on the field, he's phenomenal. Again, it's just when Kenneth Walker's on the field. He only managed 153 carries last year because of the injuries. So, but I agree,
Okay.
talent-wise, I'm not gonna argue tier 3 just based off talent. And when he's healthy, he should just be the 3-down back. Whenever they got into quick offense, they loved getting him the ball, especially in the passing game. I mean, even with the time he missed, still 52 targets, 46 receptions.
PPR. All right, I'm good with tier 3.
Yeah, so am I. I'm good with tier 3.
If I was gonna put anybody else, and I might I put this player above Breece. I would take him above Breece, and that's James Cook. I think re-signing him, giving him his contract. Josh Allen doesn't have a ton of weapons, and James Cook catches the ball, so I like James Cook right there.
Yeah, I mean, hard to argue with that, to be honest with you. I think the only thing tempered expectations around the rushing touchdowns, just because Josh gets a lot of those looks. I mean, Josh still got a decent amount of looks, and he's still 8, but again, touchdowns are a hard thing to gauge sometimes. So you want him to end the tier 3 or top of tier 4?
I like top tier 4.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. One thing to call out, and why I think tier 4 is a good spot for him. We talked about Kenneth Walker really being the guy in fast offense, 2-minute drills. James Cook lost a lot of his third down and 2-minute drill work to Ray Davis, Ty Johnson last year. So that's where a lot of receptions come from, those quick little swing passes or passes in the flat to get drives going. Think about this. Only 38 targets last year. He played less than half the snaps. And that's why, again, 16 rushing touchdowns could be a little bit of fool's gold there, especially if you're only on the field 48% of the time.
And if they're not going to win the division.
That's a whole different conversation.
Well, I feel like I picked like 5 players. I think I should.
No, you've been cooking. I've been respecting it. So I'm going to go ahead here. James Conner, obviously tier 4 running back. He's the guy in Arizona. Not much to say here. He had a great bounce back season last year. The only concern is, what's the offense? I never understand Arizona's offensive game plan.
With James Conner?
Well, an injury, but that's why he's tier 4. One healthy.
One healthy. Someone who gets injured 4 out of 5 years, and if they're gonna get injured again.
Listen, when healthy,
that is him. He only played 1 full season, which was last year, and I remember he came out like at the beginning of the game in one of the games, and I was livid.
Listen, if anybody watches a lot of Arizona film, it's you. But here's why I like James Conner. Top 10 running back in receptions last year with 47. Over 1,000 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, which he's the guy in the red zone that they're trying to run the ball anyways. That's going to continue. I know you said if you're getting Conner, you like the handcuff with Trey Benson because of the injuries. But like I said, when healthy, when he's on the field, in tier 4, I'm okay with saying, hey, when he's healthy. In tier 1, saying, let's assume health, a little different. Just throwing that out there. Also, ranked 4th in the league with rushes over 10 yards, so he still has some explosive runs in him.
I always like James Conner. I like James Conner when he's in Pittsburgh. I think
great story.
Yeah, great story. I think the thing that worries me, other than injury with Conner, is there's been a lot of talks about implementing Trey Benson, right? They spent some good draft capital with him. He didn't have a great year last year. They didn't use him a lot. So they are talking about using him more this year, which obviously takes some carries away from James Conner. But I don't have a problem with that. I like Conner. I think he's a dog. I think he finds ways to get to the end zone. Obviously, McBride don't score a lot of touchdowns. So they're gonna go somewhere. Yeah, I like that James Conner. Someone I have in tier 4, and I'm big on him. And his draft capital is skyrocketing based off his preseason, and that's my guy, Henderson. The only thing I want to see is how many snaps he gets, the utilization. But I think he's still a safe play in this tier because of the catching, right? They're not going to have
Mm-hmm.
Ramondre out there on third down. TreVeyon will be out there. He's a good pass blocking running back, and he can catch the ball. My Patriots look great, by the way. Antonio Gibson even showed some spark. So I like where we're at, but I do like TreVeyon. You know, that's another thing, right? Look at your league settings, because some leagues have it where if that player is on special teams, like TreVeyon when he scored the touchdown, his first play of his NFL career, you get points for that. In some leagues you don't, because that's considered defense and special teams. Pay attention to your league settings. If your league settings says the player scores points on those, I'm leaning even more towards him, knowing that he's an explosive playmaker and can take it to the house.
Another guy I want to put here in tier 4, probably I'm not sure if like it's most disrespected or most tried to be replaced, but ends up always being Mr. Reliable coming back to him.
I have a feeling I know where you're
Chuba
going.
Hubbard.
I knew he was going.
Chuba Hubbard.
I do not disagree by any means with this pick.
I mean, this guy, he's definitely more at the top of this, in my opinion. Anyways, I think the offense is going to be better this year. Another year with Dave Canales. I think Bryce is hopefully going to be better. I'm banking a lot on that. But he's going to get a majority of the first and second down work. And even last year, he might see some of his receptions and his pass snaps drop. He actually ranked 6th amongst running backs. Had 43 receptions, which ranked 13th. But he's just so consistent, man. Almost 1,200 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. Let's see what that happens. What that means too. But he's just so consistent, man.
I love that pick. Hubbard actually got me a championship last year.
Mr. Consistent.
He got me a championship. He was putting up points. Can't be mad at that. He's still an RB1. Like he's
100%.
You know what I mean? Like he's a team's RB1. Who are you gonna take over? Who else would you take over him? Jalen Warren, I'm concerned because I can't think of the rookie's name for some reason.
Is it Jaden Blue? No, that's Dallas.
That's Dallas.
Caleb
Johnson.
His name's like Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson. So, you know, that concerns me because Caleb Johnson is a really good running back. Aaron Jones, I like Aaron Jones. He does catch the ball at the backfield. But I feel like
Trey Mason coming from that job. Sorry, Trey Mason. Jordan Mason.
Yeah. Joe Mixon obviously out the first 4 games. That line is not great at all. So, you know, I'm not going there. Jacksonville has fucking 4 running backs. They got more running backs than Cleveland got quarterbacks. It's crazy.
That's fact.
Right?
That's fact, because they released Snoop Huntley and they just traded Pickett.
Based off of the performance from last couple of years, David Montgomery could technically fall in there. But I think Detroit really starts using Gibbs a lot more.
You saw what he did when Montgomery was out. You thought, maybe, you know, increased workload that might take a toll on him, and it was the exact opposite. His fantasy performance just skyrocketed, and obviously his on the field performance too.
That was a great pick. I got a good pick that I feel comfortable putting in this tier 4. Definitely at the bottom, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Swift. I just like the fact that Ben Johnson is there, right? Like to me, he's an offensive genius. When I saw that play that he ran, because another team did it, and the Packers just sold out on it. I was like, that's different. That is different. He'll find ways to make sure Swift is relevant and involved. And who's he got behind? He got Rashawn Johnson and
Kyle Monongai.
Yeah. So I like Swift tier 4. I think if you got Swift as a RB2, you're in a situation that I wouldn't be mad about.
Yeah, I mean, so the numbers kind of they favor Swift. And I've actually seen a lot of things where people were taking Swift over Chuba. And I think a lot of that's the Ben Johnson bump. People are really counting on
Yeah,
that offense coming back.
People like Caleb more than Bryce because Bryce's rookie year was bad and he got benched last year. There's obviously more weapons in Chicago, so it could open up more for Swift. So yeah, I get why they would do that, but I still do like Hubbard just because I think volume wise he's
Mr. Consistency, man. But one thing about Swift too, which I like to pick, I think tier 4, you got him as, running back 2, you're okay. He played with Ben Johnson before when he was a Lion. And he was utilized way more on third down than he was in Chicago. So that should open up some passing opportunities depending on what that distribution looks like with Roshan Johnson and Monangai, how they want to do that. But this definitely helps DeAndre Swift's value in fantasy more than hurts it. So, yeah, I think he finished the year as a tier 4 running back. He should open the season as a tier 4. I'm not sure if there's anybody else I really want to put on here. Jukin's situation still isn't figured out. He still hasn't signed anything yet.
I like Pacheco. I think he's healthy now, right? He before he broke his leg worse than I did.
He's a tough runner.
He runs violently. I like Pacheco. I think Pacheco in tier 4, right? He's healthy right now. How do you go wrong in an offense led by Patrick Mahomes?
Not a lot of people high on that offense led by Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, because of the Rashee Rice stuff. Kelsey dropped off. We got Worthy. A lot of people like Worthy right now. Yeah, I like Pacheco as a running back in this tier personally.
I'm not gonna argue it. I'm just not sure. I think the Chiefs' offense is going to be better this year. So you know what? I'll leave it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think the Chiefs' offense is going to be much better this year. Like, no doubt about it. Bolster the offensive line. Everybody's healthy coming into the season. Of course, the Rashid thing lingering is awful. But outside of that, they're in a much better spot than they were last year. Because, I mean, now you're looking at guys like Tony Pollard, who, depending on what that offense does, and Spears is hurt. You're looking at guys like Tyrone Tracy, whose role could potentially see that diminish a little bit with Scatterboo and a fully healthy Singletary.
How fucking scared I'd be if I had Aaron Jones as my RB1.
You better have Jordan Mason.
I'd be petrified.
Oh, as your RB1? I didn't even hear that part.
As your RB1.
You better be making moves. You better be on the phone right now.
You have to be.
League mates on one phone and God on the other.
And now, I'm curious, and I want people to leave comments. What is your draft strategy when you're going into the draft? Do you have one? Do you let it play out? Most people have one, right? Like, they have, I'm going to try and fill out the running back situation first or the wide receiver situation first. Not fill out each slot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But have a primary, right? So, for example, if it's a wide receiver heavy league, like the majority of my leagues are, people will tend to go for the wide receiver first, knowing that they have an extra slot for that, and they'll skip a Bijan or a Gibbs to go for a Jay Jettas or a CeeDee Lamb, which is no problem, right? Everybody has their own take on that, but I feel like there's way more viable wide receivers,
way more depth.
Yes, exactly. So
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I'm going running back.
So if I got the turn,
I feel the same way.
If I got let's say I'm at the end of round 1, I'm definitely going receiver running back. Because if it comes back to me late round 3, you gotta think at least out of 12 teams, right? We'll just stick to the usual standard. Mine was a 16, but if there's a 12-team league and one team has at least one running back, that's the top 12 already gone, or top 11, right?
Yep.
And I know for a fact that there's going to be at least 2 teams with 2 running backs by that time.
You
Now
bet.
you're looking outside the top 12 of running backs if you're in
Easily.
the end of
You're
round
deep
3.
into tier 3.
If you go wide receiver, you might be in a situation, but you could potentially get like a Harvey at the end of round 3. I think actually you could probably book that. I could see people taking Josh Jacobs because people tend to go towards names and stuff. Even a Kamara in a end of round 3, I'm not mad about. Just because we talked about 80, what did you say, 87, 89 receptions? Like that's
Targets, yeah, 89 targets. I mean, like 60-something receptions.
Yeah, you're in a good position with that.
That's like wide receiver 2 number of receptions.
So, yeah. So like, I'm not mad at that at all, but that's risky business. Does he come back to you at that point?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of for that same reason.
But let's just say this, right? Let's say you went 1-2, you're at the end of round 1, and you go Nico Collins or
sure
Pakua Pikachu, right? And then you wrap around, you get Chase Brown. Then it goes down. End of round 3, you can snag a Kamara. Kamara is your RB2. And then now you're at the end of that, round 4, you take a Ridley. So now you got Puka, Kamara, Chase, and Ridley. I'm comfortable. I'm telling you I'm comfortable right now.
Absolutely. I'm big on getting the running back situation situated. Just because there aren't many guys in the league. You're talking about, standard 12-team league. You play 2 running backs. There's not 24 running backs that are in phenomenal situations.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are committee. A lot of guys are specialty backs, right? The first 2 downs and they're out. There goes all the PPR money. So, no, I'm with you on that. But again, that's what these tiers are for. You use them, look at them. Where am I comfortable drafting these people? And then also based on your situation in the draft. Again, guys, this is just kind of look at it. It's not a map. It's not what it is. It's just a quick reference guide for you to be like, all right, what can I do here? The player that I had in mind got sniped. What's my next best option right now? Real quick, what do I feel comfortable taking in this position? And then keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. What a list. What a list. This guy's good.
I like it.
I ain't got nothing else to say, man.
I'm good. I'm good. I think that some of these running backs can fall into that place.
But really, after the guys that we got on the list, you're looking at true committees, which, unless somebody gets hurt, it gets spooky if you got to rely on them as RB2. So get your running back situation situated, I guess, is the moral of the story. Way more depth, like you said, at the receiver position. Even if you could play more receivers, there's just more depth there. You can run way more wide receiver 2s and offenses are way more viable than the second guy in a committee backfield.
Yes.
Just think about it like that.
Yeah, like would you take him or T. Higgins? David Montgomery or JMO?
So all that, it's again, all that to say, would you rather take David Montgomery or Chris Godwin? Would you rather take David Montgomery or let me get another good Devontae Adams, who's to be wide receiver 2? Would you rather take David Montgomery or who's another good wide receiver 2?
I'd take a Puka over David
Montgomery. And Puka. Wow. Projection, man. Well, that's a wrap on this one. We still got one more to go. We're going to have one more to go. Well, I'm not sure about that, but we're going to combine quarterback and tight end. That's going to be a dual purpose show there to get you right for your draft weekend coming up. Appreciate y'all rocking with the show. Let us know. What do y'all think about the rankings? I'm sure people are going to be like, you like Gibbs over Bijan. You got Derrick Henry in tier 2 and you got Acme in tier 1. Shit is crazy.
Yeah. I don't care. It's infamously speaking.
We're just trying to be proactive. That's it.
I'm not going around with the expert opinion.
See what I did there? You didn't get it.
No, I didn't. I missed it. I was talking shit.
Acne, proactive.
Oh,
Wow. Come on.
that's good.
This guy is good. Let's become a rapper.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And as always, think critically, speak infamously. Love.